Hello and welcome to Megawatt. I'm Katie Scott and this is our little Christmas gift to our viewers. This is the Tech Year in View, our rundown of this year's hottest news stories from the world of gadgets and gizmos. Make sure you stay tuned for January through to June. January kicked off as per usual with the annual trade show CES in Las Vegas. There were new phones, new cameras and yet so much more, but it was the TVs that dominated. First up you had Panasonic with a new 150-inch LCD TV, which momentarily stunned the press. But moving on, you also had Samsung with a 31-inch OLED TV, which had a contrast ratio of 1,000,000:1. But behind the scenes there was a battle going on between HD DVD and Blu-ray, and just before the show opened, Warner Brothers decided they were going to drop the HD DVD format, leaving everyone wondering what was the future of this format. Moving on from CES to Macworld, you had Apple releasing the MacBook Air, its thinnest laptop to date. But what was funny straight afterwards was all of these other manufacturers coming out and saying, well, actually our laptop is thinner. The month ended with a launch from Canon, the 450D, a 12.2 megapixel DSLR. February saw the launch of two rather unusual phones. First up was the Garmin Nuvi phone, which basically combined GPS capabilities with web browsing all in a touchscreen device. Second up was Sony Ericsson with the Xperia lineup, the first phone of which was the X1. But of course it was Apple that dominated by relaunching and updating its MacBook and MacBook Pro laptops. But away from gadget launches, there was also a bit of a battle in terms of online music sales. Play.com threw down the gauntlet to its competitors by launching music DRM free, and this set the tone for DRM to be one of the buzzwords of 2008. March was actually quite a quiet month for launches, but what we did have was the Samsung My Coach, a phone aimed at fitness freaks, down to the point that you could even plug it in to the torture devices down at the gym. On the laptop front, Acer brought out the Gemstone Blue, a 16-inch model with a Blu-ray drive. And of course, Apple then came in and stole the headlines yet again, this time with news of the SDK kit for the iPhone. Why this was interesting was that people were saying Apple was going to take on Sony and Nintendo by turning the iPhone into a gaming device. But there was also news of the iPhone 3G with a rumour that Apple had ordered 10 million of the new devices. April was a great month for snappers with compact releases from Canon and Nikon, but it was Sony who stole the limelight with a 24 megapixel DSLR. Unfortunately, it's never made it to market and the details were really scant, but we all got excited anyway. On the phone front, the iPhone got blinged by Gold Striker and the LG Secret was released. And in the meantime, the Pocket Lint team did themselves damage as well as smashing up their living rooms trying to play Wii Fit. But it was a game story that dominated the entire month, GTA 4. The censors in the UK had warned that the game had prostitutes and masturbation in it, which only got gamers even more excited. Funny that. Over in the US, CNN said that the game was going to turn all US youths into killers, but come the end of the month, gamers were so excited they queued up through the night to get their hands on what has turned out to be one of the biggest selling games of all time. While the GTA team and Nintendo counted the pennies from the sales of their games, Apple gave away more details about the iPhone 3G. First up, it stopped selling the first generation iPhone and T-Mobile confirmed the new device was on its way. But it was two other phones that actually stole the limelight this month. First up was the BlackBerry Bold and then there was the HTC Diamond. But while the lambs frisked and the flowers bloomed, there was also a camcorder launch, the Creative Vado, a rival to the Flip. And while all of this was happening, the British government decided it was going to start monitoring our emails, our phone calls, our texts, and what websites we were looking at on a daily basis. The story is ongoing, and each time we publish anything about it, all of our readers get mighty angry. It was June, the sun was high in the sky and the apple harvest came in early. Yes, we finally see the launch of the iPhone 3G. There were some problems with pre-ordering for O2 customers, but it still stands as the biggest launch of the year to date. Aside from that, Acer brought out the Aspire 1, a new netbook to rival the Asus E, and while that was happening, we had a play around with its rival, the MSI Wind. But what would the rest of the summer bring? What scorching hot gadgets would get us hot and bothered? Tune in again next week to find out, and in the meantime, have a fantastic Christmas.